who's buying all these single cards and these slabs? And I had all these wild realizations that, like, it's all rip and shippers and streamers and grab bags and mystery bags and all these slab and I had all these people coming up to me wanting to do deals for like 10,000, 5,000 slabs to do mystery boxes and all these things for ripping and streaming. And I was like, bro, the grading market and the slab market for singles has changed so much. I actually believe, and I'm going to give you a hot take here. I actually think probably over 50% of all cards being graded right now are just being churned in a machine to be pumped by companies to have mystery style items, and the public is just eating them up like crazy.
Now, my hot take is we have officially, I've already mentioned this, but we have officially entered the junk graded era. And I think this is a good indication why. Now, if you guys are not familiar, if you guys are brand new into the collecting sphere or into the YouTube content sphere or whatever, that's going to be Rudy from Alpha Investments. If you're going to be in this hobby for a long time, if you want to be a good collector, if you want to kind of like actually just gain some knowledge about some of the things that are happening behind closed doors, follow this guy. He's a little bit out there, talks a lot about your guys' stepsister, and he's from Florida, so I understand that. I totally understand the stepsister craze over there in Florida. It's just those Florida people are just weird. They're really weird. But besides that, yeah, go watch that video if you guys want to. I think it's something titled like Pokemon Community or something like that. It's an hour long, so if you like my kind of content where I'm talking and rambling for like around 30 minutes, you're really gonna like this guy. He kills it. This is the way that you guys get watch hours if you're content creators. I mean, following kind of his strategy, I've already met my watch hours so I can get monetized. The only thing I haven't gotten is the subscribers, which is a damn shame. Regardless, look, the main topic of today's video is going to be the junk slab era, and that we kind of already entered it, and there's a lot of things to kind of back it up. One of the first indications that I started seeing a couple months ago is whenever I was going and scrolling through TikTok, occasionally after a certain amount of like videos, regular videos, you'll jump into someone's live, and during someone's live, you'll have like rip and shippers. Now, rip and shipping culture has changed dramatically. It has gone from Pokemon packs to now graded slabs to slabs. Can't be graded slabs, they're slabs, right? Into slabs, just because Pokemon packs are really hard to get by. You can make some decent margins with Pokemon packs, but you can make significantly higher margins with graded slabs if you do it the right way, especially if you're grading with bulk. Now, it makes sense why these companies, for example, Tag, have eliminated their bulk submission from 20 cards, rebranded it, renamed it to their regular shipping or whatever, where you have to meet 10 slabs requirements so you can get the lowest price without the score available. Tag went ahead and did that, and there's a pretty good indication, a pretty good sign that they went ahead and did this, not because they were seeing that the regular collectors or everyday collectors are willing to pay $22 per slab, but it's these companies or it's these rip and shippers or these little businesses that have kind of emerged through the hype of the Pokemon hobby, where they're willing to submit hundreds and thousands of cards, and they will pay that $20-something fee per card, especially if on TikTok or on eBay or anywhere else they're selling these slabs for around 50 to 60. So after shipping, after your fees and whatnot, there's still significant amount of margin that you can make and making a very profitable business. But the only way that they're going to be able to do this, and this is not only talking about tag, this is talking about tag, PSA, CGC, you name it. Every single company right now, every single graded company is crazy. But they can make significant amount of margins grading and reselling any kind of slabs. But I remember watching all these lives, and that was kind of pissing me off because I don't know. I'm just that kind of guy, right? But I really am a tag fan. Like, I'm a supporter, right? But I'm seeing these piece of shit lives where people are trying to hype up regular EX cards. Like, oh my god, you got a EX so and so Flygon EX tag 9. That's insane, bro. Like, bro, that's junk. I'm sorry, that's junk. And even to the point where I'm gonna say this right now, with so many slabs entering the market, if you're grading with tag, if you're collecting tag slabs, unfortunately, if you're not going after pristine 10s, or if you're not getting your scores on your slabs, you might possibly have a junk slab to begin with. Like, and look, let's kind of mention. Oh, let me try to fuck this shit out of my mouth. Oh. Let me get this shit out of my mouth. Alright, let's go ahead and state some facts. In the last 6 years, from 2020 to 2026, like 70% of the Pokemon cards ever printed have been printed in the last 6 years. Meaning that the shit that you guys have been collecting from 2020 till now, and like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad because I'm collecting the same shit too, right? A dime a dozen. Regardless of how bad the pulls are, dime a dozen. If the production has been maximized to the full extent of Pokemon printing capacity, you gotta understand that some of the shit that you're collecting, whether they're chases or not, they're a dime a dozen. So even if you're collecting full art cards, for your one full art card, there could probably be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of that same illustration rare card out there. Illustration rare, there's gonna be smaller or like different kind of cards, but like if we're talking about SARs, there's probably gonna be a little bit less, but still there's gonna be a lot more modern cards now than there's gonna be of vintage. This is why I've been telling you guys, is like, well, whenever I'm collecting, I rather collect Cosmo Hollow swirls, like from blisters and checkline packs and whatever, like this Flygon that was given to me by Ripping Robert. Now, before you go over here saying Ripping Robert's a good guy, look, here's the truth. We both work for the post office, and currently I'm temporarily fulfilling a route that is vacant. He went ahead and volunteered to take control and assign over that route, and he won it. He won. So he's going to be in charge of that route, meaning he's going to kick me off. But before kicking me off, this route is heavy. We're talking about over 1,400 delivery points, meaning that it's one of the heavier ones in our station, and the previous carrier wasn't taking the best care out of it, so I'm over here cleaning it. So he went ahead and gave me just a Cosmo Hollow swirl so I can clean his whole entire route. 1,400 delivery points, and he gave me a Cosmo Hollow swirl. It's Flygon. It does have a swirl, so I'll give him that, right? But dude, come on. I'm not trying to be a dick, but come on, man. But sorry, once again, this is why I collect Cosmo Hollow swirls. It's a little bit more unique. You can get a swirl. The art is different, but I think it's a little bit better. There's more pop to it than your regular illustration rare cards. Now, where was I getting on with this? Probably something with the fact that, yeah, if you're not getting your score on your cards, and everyone's grading the same shit, whether they're grading the same cards, through PSA, through CGC, through Beckett, through SGC, through Degree, through ACE, through AGS, through whatever the Japanese company is, whatever grading companies they are in South America, because every single different grading company is different around the world. There's different companies out there. They're grading the same effing card. The best thing that you can possibly do to separate your collection from someone else's is getting the tag score on it. So the higher your score is, the better, especially when it comes to vintage. Last episode, when I was talking about Tag Chill and his recent submission, one of his recent submissions, sorry if I'm like blanking right off the bat, but I believe it was one of his Gengars. His Gengar got a tag 9. There is no tag 10s of that Gengar, and there's only 5 tag 9s with the score. And I said it out loud on the videos, like, bro, maybe reconsider of getting that score on that card in the hopes that you might have the highest tag 9 available, because then all of a sudden you change the value of that card, especially to collectors, especially to, I guess, collectors, actual collectors who are kind of like maybe aren't as smooth brain, have a little bit more ridges. Yeah, that if they're going to be collecting their cards, you can collect however you want, but if you want to have the very best of the best, or if you want to have the most valuable piece, you want your card to have that score and possibly be the highest. And that makes me wonder, I know B. Ryan Kisser has a pristine 10 without a tag score. I gotta see if we can go ahead and get that regraded or re-slabbed with the score available, because that would be pretty sweet to know. For all we know, he has a 1,000 point slab, but that's besides the point. Yeah, as a collector, you should be getting the score on every single one of your cards from vintage, because vintage has been notoriously hard to be graded with just because of different eras and different quality controls. But you can't print vintage. There's a finite number of vintage, and I strongly believe that vintage probably has the biggest upside to gain the most value down the road, as people realize, holy shit, this Okie Dokie that I'm collecting from Shrouded Fable, there's a shitload of them out there in different kind of languages, so my copy might not even be the best. But let me get that out of the way. Sorry, I like bouncing around in my videos. As much as you guys hate it, you guys much a critique, I just fucking love it. I just like talking off top of my head and talking out of my ass. Okie dokie, I just went ahead and sold this card. It's one of those cards that I got like maybe 5 or 6 cards that I bought of eBay's PSA Vault, and thinking like, I just kind of want to test how accurate subjective graders are and how lenient or how strict tag rating really is. So I went ahead and got 6 different cards. I went ahead and cracked all those cards and set them to tag for grading, and out of those 6, 5 came back as 10s and only 1 came back as 9. And the funny thing is that 9 that I got from tag ended up being, it was a CGC 10 that I went ahead and cracked and submitted for grading just because I want to collect the promo cards. I do like the promo cards for the Scarlet and Violet era. It's that stupid ass Petrant up there. Fucking tag 9. There you go, CGC. Way to go. Right? But the 9s all came back as 10. And my theory was, something that I was testing is, if the cards have texture, I feel like maybe tag will allow like 1 white dot, 2 white dots at max to get hit on, as long as your centering is good. 2 white dots in the back and you'll still have a chance of a 10. It's not a pristine 10, so you guys can go ahead and kiss my ass saying, oh, it has 2 white slots, there's 2 white dots, it shouldn't be a 10. Bitch, shut the fuck up, alright? It's not a pristine 10. It's a tag 10, meaning it is a fantastic card, but there's still some discrepancies out there. Now, I sold every single one of them except for this one. This was the last one, and I've already told you 5 out of the 6 came back as 10s. Sure enough, this was a 10. And as the Shrouded Fable fan, I like having this, right? But here's the thing, I really didn't get to use Okie Dokie in the game, so therefore I don't really have an attachment to him. Maybe even then, if I use Okie Dokie in Pokemon Go, which I haven't really played ever since I joined the fucking post office, I haven't really attached myself to that Pokemon. Maybe some other person really does Okie Dokie. They really do like them. So, I don't know. I sold it. They went ahead and bought it. And I'm going to be shipping it to them. So, congratulations to whoever you are. But, yeah. Get scores. Because I do believe we have jumped into the junk wax or the junk graded era. So outside from seeing it on TikTok, what are some of the other indicators that we have seen in the current sphere that might give you that holy shit, graded cards? We're into like some, we're into like murky territory. And that's gonna be mystery packs. I've told you about mystery packs or the power packs in GameStop. I think they're a legit scam. That is a very predatory practice, which dumb Americans fall for it because they love to be degenerates and they love to gamble. But they go ahead and buy up all these PSA slabs, put them inside a bag, and then they'll charge you $150. They'll give you some couple booster packs. I think it's 2 English booster packs, 1 Japanese booster pack, and then the slab. And sure enough, there's been a lot of junk wax cards. I keep saying junk wax, but it's not junk wax, it's junk slabs. There's a lot of junk slabs cards inside those packs. And if GameStop is doing it, I can promise you that some of the content creators that you might follow, some of these are obviously rip and shippers too, right? They are doing the same thing because there's a lot of money to be made in slabs. And if you guys watch that video, he's gonna be talking about like there are people who are sending thousands to 2,000s of raw cards integrating to these companies, right? And in order to try to make like a fortune off these margins. Now, I can't really hate on them because in order to do that successfully, you have to really consider these 2 things. One, this person probably has more resources than you. They probably had more of a higher life savings than you and took a bigger chance in doing this, whether if it was with PSA, CGC, because in the start of the boom, we go ahead and acknowledge that these subjective companies have been running the show. More PSA, right? But these people with resources saw an opportunity, took a risk to do a move like this, to start a business like this, doing mystery slabs, just grading whatever they can. Meaning, if they had the resources, damn, that's insane. Putting a lot of money like that into Pokemon packs or like Pokemon cards, right? Because if you're grading with PSA with a bulk value, right, which at the time it could have been something like around like $15, $16 per card. So let's just say $16 per cards times 1,000 cards. You're looking already at $1,600 without taxes, without shipping, without insurance, and with the last thing with PSA without any upcharges. That's insane. But wait, what if people don't have the resources? Because not everyone has money. Every single social media site, every single newspaper, all media forms are telling us that we're kind of entering a recession and a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. There are people out there who are putting $16,000 of debt starting into doing these businesses like that. They're taking a big risk. So that's why I can't really even hate on them. They have some big ass balls in trying to do that. Cause I don't take that kind of risk. I like my life. I like my style. Like I like everything that I've done. My family really had nothing to the point where I'm at. And it's like my vehicles are paid off for. I don't own a home, but I'm paying a mortgage. But guess what? My mortgage is 75% of my whole entire intake. I'm super comfortable, but seeing my family start from nothing to where I'm at right now, I'm not really going to take risk. Every single time that I'm buying Pokemon product, whether if it's slabs, packs, cards, or sealed, I have a budget. And once I pass that budget, I don't buy shit anymore. So these people, as much as we can go ahead and hate for they might end up ruining the graded market after all. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a round of applause. And just letting you know, I wasn't using my hands for the round of applause. But that's insane if you really think about it. But this is how money is really made in times of opportunities. And we're seeing one of the craziest bull runs, not only for Pokemon, we're seeing it for all the other TCGs. We're seeing it in One Piece. We're seeing it in the sports market all over again. There's conversations about Dragon Ball. There's also conversations about name other effing TCG, and the TCG, at least in the United States, it's going. Look, not even in the United States. I can't speak for every other country, but it seems like the TCG game is not really about TCG anymore. Sorry, the TCG cards is not about playing the game anymore. It's about collecting them and seeing what value they eventually become to. And that's insane. Like, we're putting so much money on a piece of cardboard as a whole, as a community, that people are really becoming millionaires overnight for taking big risks like that or starting businesses during these opportunities. It makes sense why you have a lot of people going into vending. It makes sense why you have a lot of people opening shops. I promise you, like around a year ago, there was maybe like 4 shops on top of my head in El Paso where they did like cards. There were there were card shops. Now, to where we at right now, there's over 15, with more on the way. Like, it's getting saturated. The market is getting saturated. Either the market is really that reliable, like that insane, or we're just riding one of the biggest bubbles ever, and whenever it pops, it's gonna be effing glorious. Look, I talked to Chris, Scalper Chris, I talked to other people, and we all understand and we all know that eventually this is gonna pop. And by pop, there's gonna be a retrace of some way, whether if it's in the graded sphere, whether if it's in the raw sphere, whether if it's in something is gonna happen where it's gonna retract. It might not just disappear. It might, I do feel like the TCG has a stronger audience, stronger core than the Funko community, than the shoes community, than any other kind of resale community. I think like TCG, Pokemon being in charge on top, they found the recipe to really have control over this. But I can understand why they're doing this. It's insane. Look, I mean, I wouldn't say like we're like entering the last part, but here's a couple things I want to go ahead and cover for the last part of the video. I've had a couple members, a couple of subscribers kind of send me some messages, ask me questions about like, hey, if you have an error card, should you still grade with tag? Personally, I hadn't run across a slab that was an error card. I hadn't seen it. But as the tag community keeps growing, more people are going to be submitting more things. And now I kind of have an answer. So one of the local community members, one of the local persons here in El Paso, Straw Hat Shenanigans, he's also one of the people that does community events, organizes these small random pop-up events around El Paso. He likes tag. I respect that. He's an entrepreneur. He's doing something out of nothing. He's creating a community event for people. Hopefully, I think he's probably making some money, but he knows people. There's a couple of people that he rips open with, and he sends graded cards. He grades cards with tag, and he went ahead and got this. Sorry, I'm gonna mess this up. This One Piece card. Portigas Ace. Look, I'm telling you, I don't know One Piece. I apologize if I butchered the names, but then again, like, I don't have my expertise. But the biggest thing to like look out afterwards, it's that this is a genuine 10. This is a 10, but this is an error card, and it tells you right there in the very bottom line, wanted alt art SEC error with a score of 977. I think honestly, whenever you look at this card in TCG or not TCG player, like in collector, all these other like market tracking apps, the raw card goes for around $400. A 10 goes for around $600. The increase in margins is not that crazy, but here's the thing: this is an error card. It's not your regular, wanted alt art, if you will. Let's just say that. It's not. It's an Aerosense, and it's a 10. But he probably did the smartest thing that he could possibly do and grade that shit with a score. It has a score of 977. Now, that's fantastic. That probably is going to require a premium if you're a one piece collector, if anyone wants to let it go. I would charge for way more than market. Now, probably a pristine Aero card of that, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Now I'm kind of intrigued if we can see that. We'll probably go for a good amount. So, Straw Hat Shenanigans, fantastic submission and way to hit on it. Like, you gotta see that. Like, you gotta love it. It's tied for the highest. No, that one's not tied for the highest. It's 11th highest grade. So now we know it's the 11th. But I wonder if there's like normal submission and the text error submission. It's another thing I probably should do more research on. Now, another collector here in El Paso. His name is gonna be Pokey Nugget. I've already had an interview with him. Tall white guy with a mustache. Everyone has a mustache now. Ever since freaking Invincible, everyone over here is rocking out the stupid mustache. When I was doing this shit, before it was cool, I was doing this shit when I was a CrossFit instructor, just because I looked fairly young and I was a head coach. So I was literally growing out a mustache so I could look a little bit older, which I could, right? So that way, whenever I was telling people about my programming, what numbers to use after percentages, teaching about progressive overload, I wasn't just talking out of my fucking ass. Like, I was doing it so I could look a little bit more mature, a little bit more wiser, and so you can go ahead and respect me as a coach, right? I hated that everyone has a fucking mustache now, if I'm being honest. That's why half time I shave my face. Anyways, he went ahead and graded Tag Team GX card, and this is going to be from this is going to contain Darkrai and Umbreon, and the Umbreon and Darkrai GX from Tag Team GX. Now, he went ahead and graded, got the score. This is going to be a pristine 10 of 991. If we look at his report, I'm not going to pull it up. He has the highest card. He has the highest score in a pristine 10. What does that mean? Look, say all the shit that you want to say about Japanese, but when it comes to some of these slabs, like, they hit so much better. But it has Darkrai, it has Umbreon, it has the stupid secret Pikachu in the back. This card has been getting pumped because Pitch Black is coming up, and the Mega Darkrai looks amazing. It has a secret Pikachu in the card, so all of a sudden it has the cameo bonus, it has an Umbreon bonus, it has a Darkrai bonus. We're talking about tax on tax on tax on tax. And on top of that, he has a pristine 10. He has the highest. I don't know what he's gonna do. Hopefully he tries to move it as fast as possible, and then continue doing what he does, because he grades a lot with tag. And I had a conversation with him in one of the trade nights, and he's like, hey dude, I've been watching your content, which, John, my bad, I didn't think you did, sorry. I didn't think you did, right? But he told me, he's like, hey, I drive 40 minutes to work, I put on your videos because they're 40 minutes long, so I can use it as background noise, but I support with a lot of things that you do say. And he was upset that tag has suspended their grading, but I wonder if he's going to be grading at the $60 entry. Because I'm telling you, he does. I seen his collection. I see the cards that come through his vending shows. And, I'm sure he's coming through some great cards that he can go ahead and grade. He is taking advantage. He's taking advantage of this hobby to make a big opportunity. So, Pokenugget, keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations on your slab. Once again, not clapping with my hands. Yeah. But that's a fantastic submission, right? And great job. Now, look. All these cards right here, the Aero card, the pristine 10, number 1. Yes, you can go ahead and grade with tag to go ahead and maximize your value if you're trying to resell. If you want to go ahead and resell. If you want to go ahead and collect and have them for your PC, those are some fantastic pieces. Like, those are some pieces that you can bring out and brag with your friends. Now, there are some pieces that you want to have just because they mean so much to you. And I still think that collectors and tags should be grading these cards, and these are going to be your favorite cards, your PC cards, just like Tag Show. Whenever his last submission, like, I knew that he was a Persian fan. And he has vintage cards, and this is one of the better version cards that he had. Virgins. This is one of the better Persian vintage cards that he had. That's why I said virgin. And it looks fantastic. I'm telling you, the hollow foil on vintage cards, you can't beat it. Like, it looks the best in tag slabs. It just really does. I think the only other one that's gonna look good, it's gonna be the Japanese grading company, but I don't have a slab yet. One day I probably will, right? But they look so good, and like, he got an 8.5. He got an 8.5. Whether this is gonna be a PC piece, like, this is a fantastic slab, like, and you should probably have those like that. I have my slabs like that too. Give me a second. Like, I have my vintage ones, but I like pieces of shit. I have this Mew promo in a 3. It's a horrible card, but this is my PC card, and I'm telling you, the hollow on it looks amazing. Look, if you're gonna be grading for your PC, grade whatever you want. And if you're gonna grade whatever you want for your PC, you don't require the score. It's for you. But if you're gonna be grading to resell, whether if it's going to be in a mystery bag or in an auction, or to have the best of the best, because that's the best thing that tag will give you over all these other companies. And I love it, because whenever I hit a nerve in that PSA bash video, the comments come in hard, right? But some guy was saying, look, isn't tag notorious for grading cards with bends, dents, surface scratches, blah blah blah? I'm like, shit, isn't PSA notorious for doing the same shit but charging you more for it, right? The one thing that tag does have over subjective grading is that they have this data and this number to go ahead and back up their grading. It's going to be a little bit more consistent because it's being put through the same program, whether it's the same equipment. Now, I do have my questions about their AI technology. Is it evolving, or is it more used like a tool? Because I think it can be going either ways, right? But it's one system, or it's either like tag version 1 or tag version 2 or tag version 3, right? But it's being graded by the same AI. PSA and CGC or Beckett or any other subjective companies cannot say that shit. They're either going to have Timmy grading your card or Jimmy John grading your fucking card, and they're two different people who have two different likes, who have two different criterias. So yes, tag can go ahead and grade dents. They might have some dents they're gonna go through. They might have some scratches. They're gonna have that. But so does PSA. So do all these other subjective companies do too. But at least tag is staying consistent and only using one system, one AI. And you can't have the same argument with that with PSA or CGC. Outside from that, I really do hope that you guys having a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.